So let me tell you what I've been doing since the last video, and I've been aligning the front end to the point that it's not looking bad. Let me show you. So I've installed this wing here, and as you can see, the actual body panel matches up to the door pretty well. And I've got a bit of work to do under here. So the bit of rubber, whatever it is that goes around here, was damaged in the crash. Also, there's a bit that mounts on this filler tube that's cracked as well. I've ordered that. Those parts are on the way. Now, what I did have to do with this wing is I had to shave underneath here and get it a bit lower so it'd sit nicely on there. It's now bolted up on these screw holes here, but I have had to enlarge them. I've only put a couple of screws in because this is going to be off and on again for many more times yet. Now, my only issue underneath is that just at the front here, it seems to be just resting on the radiator here, which I don't like. But I think I can remedy that, lifting it up a little bit by putting in the little angle bar that goes from that bolt there and came up underneath the tray here. And I think if I do that, that will probably stop that from rubbing. Now this pipe here, which is part of the aircon system, I had to reshape that by just gently bending it, just to push it in a little bit, because it was going underneath the wing here and pushing the wing out. So I had to change that. This is the part I need to replace on my fuel filler because it's all cracked. But I've got that, as I say, on order, and it's on its way. As for the other wing, we had about the same issues, but that's kind of nicely fitting at the moment. It could do to come out a little bit more here. I've had to put some washers in behind the mounting point, which is, don't worry about the rusted screw I've got in there. But that mounting point there, I've had to put some washers in. I may need to put another one or two in, just to bring this off this panel a little bit more. But then, you know, that's pretty good, because when, obviously you need the distance there, so when you open the door doesn't rub on the actual panel. But it fits quite nicely. I'm quite happy. See how wide it comes. Look how wide it comes out there. Whee! That's nice. I then moved on to mounting the bonnet, and that's gone on quite well. So obviously we used the original hinges with the gas struts as well on both sides. So this bonnet is quite nice. I've not put the bonnet lock on as yet, but when it's down, the gaps are pretty good. All the way up to the top there. And same at this side. Obviously need a little bit of work, but the body shop will do that work to get those gaps nice. But overall, it's coming on really well. It's fitting really nice. They are quality parts, these, I must admit. I've worked with fiberglass bodies before. If you look back many moons ago, I did a Ferrari replica of a 430, and that was just pure fiberglass. This is fiber reinforced plastic, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, the panels really smooth. They feel really nice. So I think these will paint up really well. Now I'm just doing the work on the front bumper now, so that's the next bit. If we just pop that front bumper on again, just open the bonnet. Right. That's roughly where it's going to go, but if you look here, oh, look at the crash bar. Crash bar is totally in the way of all this area here, so we're going to need to reduce that crash bar down. Same on the other side, so I'm going to have to cut the crash bar. Now I find the best way of aligning the bonnet with the wings is to basically take the wing off, take the bonnet off, take it all outside, and then bolt these bits here together when the wing and the bonnet are just laid on the grass. Yeah, so that being said, let's get the bonnet outside and let's get one of these wings and see if we can get it all lined up against the bonnet itself. Right guys, so this is what I mean. So I've got the wing here mating up to the front bumper, and yeah, we've got the bolts in and it's looking pretty good. That's a pretty good fit there. I had to do a little bit of shaving of this. When I say shaving, I'm using one of these guys, these belt sanders. Absolutely superb. You need one of these if you're doing this type of work. Brilliant bit of kit. So looking underneath now these come, look at this side, it comes with a riv nut in here already, and it comes with 2 holes in there already, but I've actually added another one, so I've done 3 at this side. So if we look underneath now, you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3 bolts holding that inner bit there, and just 1 bolt into the riv nut, at the front there, and it's all looking pretty good. I mean, it's, you know, there's going to be a bit of work from the body shop. That's all right, that's expected. But the line down here is really nice, look. That goes there, and that's where your side indicator or side repeater, whatever you call it, goes in there. Time for me to do the other side now, and I'll show you that when it's done. And that's the other wing done as well, and yeah, this has actually gone on nicely. It does need a bit of work, but that's expected, because look, there's like an air bubble or something, like a little chip out there, but that gap there will be fixed by the body shop. This gap's gone very nice again, so it matches nicely with the shape of the bumper and the wing. A little bit of work, probably just to sharpen up this corner here, but that will be underneath the headlight anyway, so that's not going to be too much of an issue. But yeah, really happy with the way this has turned out. These just fit together really nicely. Right, so let's dismantle it now and get it back on the car. But before I do that, let's get the trusty angle grinder and let's just chop off the bits that need to come off the crash bar. And as can be seen there, hasn't really altered the structural integrity of this front crash bar. It's only just took the little bits off the end. They still connect here to the rails, and they've still got the strength that is needed in an impact. So there we go, that's most of the front end together now. Probably a little bit of work's needed on the gaps, but that's expected really. But it's not too bad, you know. I'm quite happy with the way the gaps have turned out. For a body kit, there could have been a lot worse than that. And we've got the bonnet almost in position, so we can bring it up like that and release. Well, hey, so that's good. So now it's time to start work on the rear of the car. And to do that means turning this car around so I've got a better access at this end to the back of the car. Right, we're ready now to start working on the back end of my car. So to start with, I'm going to make life a bit easier around this area for me by removing the rear deck lid. And firstly, we need to remove the plug that powers the fan and the deck lid light. And that is found just down here under there. And it's one of them where you've got to press the tab in, which I've already done. I've already loosened this, and then pull the actual plug out like so. So then it's going to simply remove the gas strut here and take out the two bolts that are holding on each side. And now remove the rear lights, which is simply just one 10mm on the side there. I think mine have had the LED conversion because that's not standard, and I think these are definitely LED lights, aren't they? So these will be up for sale. And the next stage is to remove these 4 screws that are holding this back plate on. And next is the rear wheel arch, and there's a Torx bit just there. And under the very bottom of the wing there's 2 more Torx bits. And as you saw, this side is now loose. I'll just go loosen the other side and then we'll do the underneath. But not forgetting to put my bolts into a little bag for later use. And that should mean that this side is now released. So underneath the rear there is what looks like a raft of what should be bolts on here, but I've only got one there. These are rivets. Looks like a metal plate, and one over there as well. So I think I've only got 2, and they're Phillips. So let me just get the Phillips adapter. So I can't see any more underneath there now, so that should mean that this should now come off. Now just before I pull this off, I've got rear parking sensors, and obviously we've got the license plate lights here. So what I need to do is get a little box to balance this on so I can then unplug those. So now it's time to test fit the new bumper. I'm looking forward to this bit. Right, look at that. Whoa, she looks beautiful. And she fits very, very nicely. I'm well impressed with that fit. Let me show you the fittings. So I've just got 2 in there, but you see the other one's there. That quick nut thing has just moved, and the other one is going to be in there. So we should be able to get those. Underneath, I ain't got a fix in there, but I might make a little bracket that goes from there to here, so we can just get a bit of extra strength there. And underneath, you can see it goes into the original hole there and to the original hole here. Just needs a little bit of lining up on that side there. So that fits nicely and is going to make the car that much wider, look. Oh, wow. So what I think I might do is I might just pop on the rear quarters. So the rear quarters are going to bolt onto there and just see what that looks like. And look at that, guys. Wow. That is looking absolutely beautiful. These are going to need the most work than anything, because I've got to bond these in to the shape of the car there. As you can see here, it's all sticking out, look. It's sticking out from there. Also, the GT3RS has the air intake here, so I'm going to have to cut the wing out to actually get that air intake on there. So I've got to cut a hole in the wing there. Right, so instead of doing the rear quarters next, I think what we'll do is we'll do the rear deck, because once we get the rear deck on there, then we can see by putting the quarters on that they'll line up to the rear deck and the rear bumper and to the side of the car and so on and so forth. So let's get the rear deck on. Right, she's on. And it is pretty high here, but I'm thinking that maybe has to meet with the rear quarters. We'll have a look at that in a minute. But yeah, hinges, it seems quite heavy for this. This doesn't seem to have enough power, so what I might have to do in future, this is get another one of these with the bolts that go there, because I think they'll probably just work on here as well. Because you have got a bolt hole there, look, and you probably get something in there. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We've also got the mounting here with the sunken nuts in there for the fan and also for the latch. You have got access here for the third brake light. Whether that means removing that one or adding another one, I think I'll probably add another one as well, so we have the two, and then I could probably tap this off that one there. So let's get the rear quarter out and then see how it lines up with the bumper and the rear deck. Right guys, managed to get the side skirts on. These have gone on absolutely lovely actually. So they fit in the existing hole there. There's two underneath as well, goes in existing holes. It lines up beautifully with the bottom of the door or the top of the sill, and it then fits in this end and it will mount through a mount hole there. Now also what I'm going to do, I'm going to drill through here and put a bolt in between, but I don't know if you can tell, see how far this is sticking out here. So that just means I need to do a little bit of adjustment where it meets there, and I just need to cut off a little bit of the body panel just to get it to go in a bit further at the front. And then I think once I do that, that is going to line up beautifully. But I'll leave that for now because that means taking the whole wing off, and I do need to check whether I've got to remove some of this as well, because I think you might have to remove all of this. I don't know. But I also think this has been added to make up the difference between this wide wing and the wheel arch liner that used to be there. So if I cut all this off, and I don't need to, then I'm going to have a big gap between the edge of the wheel arch liner. I mean, that can be made up with a bit of plastic, that's not a problem. But I might have to take some of this off here, because to get the washer bottle inside there where it's supposed to go is tight having this bit on. But I'll get to that when I take this wing off and start working a bit tighter. This is just the initial fit up, just to make sure everything's kind of going together. So now I've got the sill on. That means we now can try the rear quarter, because we've now got two mounting points. We've got the mounting point against the sill there, and we've got the mounting point against the top of the bumper there. Right, see what we've got here. So if we line that bit up there as best we can to where it should be on that bit there, it does line up here. Just pull that back a bit. There you go. So if I line that bit there where it's supposed to be, I know it needs to push in, that does align here nicely. So that line just needs to push in a little bit. but there's plenty of room to do that. The problem I've got here though, if I push that in, look at the gap under the bottom there, of bottom of this, miles off that. I don't know if that's supposed to be level with this. So I think what we're going to do, we'll start here where this join is, because this join can only go in one place. So if we get this join right here, then we should be able to mess around with the rear bumper and mess around with the side skirts and see if we can get that to join correctly there. Right, that's it. So she's bolted on here now. So we've got a couple of bolts in there holding that one. That'll all be sorted in body shop. Looks like a bit of a bigger gap there, but we can, that's not a problem. And it's just, I haven't bolted this on yet. I've just taped it to the inner wing there just to pull it in. Now it is a bit proud there, so I may need to just take a bit off this. Also, it's sticking out here and there's a huge gap under there. But I need to just investigate that to see whether that's normal, and I have to fill that gap in. I don't know. I'm going to feather the edges here, and then this will get bonded into the car, and the same on top. But can you see that gap? It's pushing off quite a bit there, look. But what I think is underneath here, I just need to take a bit off the edge that goes against the original wing there, so that goes a bit closer to the car. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go work on the sill and the rear quarter on the other side and just get those in place, and then I'll show you them. Well, that, my friends, is first fit of the back end, and yeah, it does need a little bit of work, I must admit. Well, quite a bit of work, to be honest. This wing over here, well, it's pretty way out, so it's lifting up here, look. As much as I tape it down, it's not fitting nicely, and if I do press it down there, then what that does is tend to lift it from here. And this bit here as well was sticking right out. This bit is very proud, but that's all adjustable, and just by a bit of sanding and just a bit of messing around with the panels, this doesn't go anywhere near. Pull that bit off that I taped on the back now, but this doesn't go anywhere near. But I think I'm going to have to cut a hole in the rear quarter metal here for that to sit in, because then we do have, let me show you this, we do have these air intakes. This is from this side, so these will fit in there after I've cut out all that quarter panel there. They will then fit in and bond inside there to give you the air intake. And look, it can be real because it has got that on the back. So what I might do is just get a little tube and I can put a tube underneath the rear wing into the engine compartment. And then it's like the real thing, isn't it? It's letting cool air into the engine compartment. But yeah, rear deck, I haven't got the fins of the coal, I haven't got these bits on the end yet, but rear deck is on there, and it needs quite a bit of adjustment. It needs bringing forward, needs lowering, so there's a bit of work needed on the rear deck. But all in all, you know what? It is a pretty good body kit. I'm quite impressed with it. I think it's going to look absolutely awesome when it's finished. It's hard to tell squashed in the garage because I can't step back to have a good look at it. But, you know, a bit of, also the damage, we can't see, I haven't got my light, but the damage under there from the crash, I'm going to have to pull it out a bit more, because when I put the side skirt on, when you open the door here, when it goes fully wide, which you won't here, you can see right down there the old damage. So I'm going to need to, I think I'm going to get a slide hammer, and I'm going to cut holes in that and just see if I can pull it out with a slide hammer. So there's a lot of work to do. So there we go, guys, that's the progress up to now. Yeah, I mean, I've spent hours and hours just doing this, and I know that is what bodywork is like when you get a body kit. It ain't just throw it together, they don't just bolt on and everything fits nicely. Never ever does that ever happen. You have to do a lot of work. But I'm taking this on as my biggest challenge. I hate bodywork, absolutely. I love nuts and bolts more, but I'm taking this on as a big challenge to see if I can build this GT3RS replica, get it on the road and enjoy driving around in it, based on my Porsche 911 996. And I'm really looking forward to the day this is finished, but that's a long way off, so I'll keep you posted with some updates. But for now, that's all. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, stay safe.